So this has got to be the best story that no one is talking about. If you enjoy turkey at Thanksgiving, go ahead and hit that like button right now and let me know where you are tuning in from. City, state, in this great nation, let me know. Also, if you are from outside this great nation, let us know what great nation you are tuning in from. Province, county, wherever it may be. So some of you may have heard, because I feel like this story really hasn't gotten a lot of attention. I guess the people in Chicago know the story. But Thanksgiving has been canceled in Chicago. Mayor Lightfoot canceled Thanksgiving. Well, she essentially said you should not have your Thanksgiving gathering. And it would have been acceptable for some people had Mayor Lightfoot not been at a rally with no mask on, screaming, spitting on a megaphone, surrounded by people, just hours before canceling Thanksgiving. Of course, there's photo of it. Of course, there is video of it. And rightfully so, some people got very upset. What's funny is people have been okay with a lot of things for quite some time. I don't know how anyone still lives in the city of Chicago. If you live in the city of Chicago, this is not a knock on you. But to continue to live in that city that is, for the most part, many parts, and now more parts, are a war zone, where they pulled U-Haul moving trucks up to stores to break in and loot them in the name of justice. I have a hard time believing anyone feels comfortable, feels safe living in lawlessness like that. I can't imagine anyone saying, no, I don't mind that. I like that. But let's go back to Mayor Lightfoot. Mayor Lightfoot, who had previously, just a couple of months ago, had told the police to stand down from protesters and criticized the police with their actions against peaceful protesters. However, when the protesters came to her neighborhood in front of her home, she ordered the police to remove the protesters. Although they were peaceful, she ordered the police to have the protesters removed, although they were breaking no laws. She said she did not want that in her neighborhood, in front of her home. She didn't want her family to have to deal with that. She didn't want her neighbors to have to deal with that. But it was okay for the protesters to burn, loot, steal. But the peaceful ones in front of her home had to be immediately arrested and removed. Now, fast forward. She's at a celebratory rally with a megaphone, screaming, no mask on, people all around. She's surrounded by people. Some had masks, some didn't have a mask. The videos are online. You can go watch them. Photos are circulating online. You can go ahead and Google them. And she, hours later, says because of COVID, cancel Thanksgiving. No gatherings, no one at your house, nothing. Now, what I would like to see, and I'm sure someone in Chicago at this point is going to do it, is let's plant someone at her home in her neighborhood and see if she has anyone come to her home for Thanksgiving, or see if she goes to someone else's home for Thanksgiving. Now, this is not a Democrat or a Republican thing. This is a human being thing. This is human decency. When you are lying to the people that you took an oath to protect and take care of, every one of your constituents, whether they are Democrat, Republican, right, left, liberal, conservative, I don't care. Every one of them should have a problem with you being at a rally with no mask on, yelling and screaming, celebrating, and then hours later telling people they can't have people at their home for Thanksgiving. Canceling Thanksgiving. Do you really think that people are going to say, oh, I totally understand that. Totally get that. Yep, makes total sense. Anyone in Chicago right now who voted for this person has to seriously be reconsidering their choices. This, to me, is multiple egregious acts of hypocrisy. And yet nothing's done about it. What's scary is that she'll probably get reelected. Somehow. She'll get reelected. They'll bring her back in. Because it seems that in these cities that are struggling the most, suffering the most, it's almost like that. What's that called? What's it called? Stockholm? Where, like, you know, you start like feeling compassion toward your captor. It's almost like that's happening in these cities where people are broke, there's crime, there's violence, there's drugs, there's gangs, there's looting, there's everything under the sun, people getting executed in the street. I posted that the other day and people were like, come on. Someone posted, people aren't getting executed in the street. So I sent them the article of the 2 teenage boys that were executed, shot in the back of the head in Chicago in an alley. I sent them the article. I said, I'm sorry, you were saying something? People are getting executed in cold blood in the middle of the street in Chicago. And this woman is talking about canceling Thanksgiving because it's too dangerous. Not so dangerous, because you can go outside in a rally and scream and spit with no mask on in front of other people with no mask on. That's fine. Do these people think we're stupid? And the people who don't say anything about it, they must just say, look, these people are so stupid. They're so dumb. They don't even realize what we're doing here. We're telling them to do one thing, and yet here we are doing something completely different, and they're still going to vote for us. They're so dumb. That's what they must be saying. So now, let's talk about Washington, D.C. Now, some of you may have heard this, some may have not, but I saw all the photos, and I saw the evidence on the Parler app. I don't know if you guys are on the Parler, but very interesting. I have my own opinions about Parler, but I saw it on Parler, and one of our followers shared it with us on Parler. And the Democrats, now hold on, now let me be fair. Let's be fair and unbiased here. Apparently, the Republicans too, but of course we only saw the photos of the Democrat. The Democrats, Nancy Pelosi and friends, planned a wedding-style party to welcome all the new members, all the new Democratic members that were elected to Washington, D.C. And they were setting up for this big event. It was beautiful. You should have seen the tablecloths, the centerpieces. Oh, it was Hollywood. It was top-notch. The only thing that they forgot to do was to make sure that no one came in there with cell phones and cameras. Because here as they're talking about the country needs to be shut down to save the country, to save the economy. There needs to be a national mask mandate. All this stuff, which I'm not saying I'm for or against. I'm saying that they are for those things. They are for the national mask mandate. They are for all the social distancing. They are for the shutdown to help save the economy. I don't know. We were shut down for a while and the economy tanked. So I don't know. Maybe they got some new information. But anyway, they were about to throw this huge wedding-style event with hundreds of people. And at these events, naturally, people are eating. Nice big round tables. Looks like they're about maybe 10 people to a table. And the tables were not that far apart, just like at a wedding. Whole enclosed room full of people. Big ornate doors closed. And they were about to have this huge event during this time of COVID-19. And I guess they just thought people were not going to say anything. I guess they thought people were not going to notice that all the politicians that are pushing for the national shutdown and the national mask mandate were all in a room, sans mask, eating and drinking and celebrating their victory of getting elected into office. Once again. And of course the photos leaked out, right? Of course the photos leaked out. And then what happened? After the photos leaked out, they started backpedaling. And they said, just kidding. We're going to pack up food in these little to-go boxes, and everyone is going to be able to arrive. All the new members can arrive. They're going to take their little container of food, their little doggy bag, and they're going to go somewhere else and eat their food, being safe and socially they're going to eat they're going to eat their food with their mask on. That's how extreme they're going to take this. That's how serious they're going to come, mask on with the whole suit. They're going to take their food elsewhere and they're going to go eat it in a closed room by themselves. They quickly backtracked after the photos leaked out and they canceled the event. Now, once again, to be fair, allegedly the Republicans were planning a similar event for all the new Republican members that were elected in. It's kind of like a welcome party, okay? Which I understand. It's nice that they want to welcome the new members that just got elected. That's great, but not during COVID-19, right? When you got to take social distancing and mask wearing and all that stuff very serious. This is we're about to shut the country down. So the Republicans had one planned as well, and they too thought better of it and canceled it. So there you go. So for the people who are trying to spin this as just a Democrat thing, don't spin it that way. Republicans were planning the same kind of party. It was canceled. But now here you go. You have Nancy Pelosi, who for many people believe her position as speaker is in danger, who was caught in a hair salon getting her blowout with no mask on, surrounded by people, no mask on, in a jurisdiction in which she mandated that everything be closed. And then she had the audacity to claim she was set up. She was set up. Let me tell you what that's like. That's like someone getting set up to go buy drugs. And then they go, and because they're maybe a drug user or they like drugs, and they're set up for a buy, right? And they go and they buy the drugs. And then the police come in and say, you're under arrest. And the person saying, hold on, you can't arrest me. This was a setup. I did nothing wrong. I was set up to buy these drugs. Guess what? That's BS. And as she sat there and had the audacity to publicly say she was set up with that hair salon thing, once again, is a slap in the face. And once again, you have to ask the question, do you think we're stupid? Once again, there are people that love her, that support her, that say that she is like the best thing since sliced bread. Or maybe ice cream, because we all know her freezer full of ice cream. Her like $6,000 fridge freezer full of ice cream, right? So, as someone from the outside looking in, I'm like, this is like embarrassing. This is egregious. This is disgusting. However, I don't know what's more disgusting, their actions or the people who see these same actions that we're all seeing and still say, that's okay, they're okay. They're okay. They're good people. They're okay. Mayor of Chicago, at a rally, no mask, doing everything she wants, no problem. But then cancels Thanksgiving. Yep, we're on her side, no problem. Rioters, looters, let them go. Let them be. Don't be too harsh on them. Oh, wait, hold on a second. There's a peaceful protest in front of my house. Come lock them up right now. How do any of the people who support these fools continue to support them? I don't know. It is beyond belief. So I don't know what's more unbelievable. The actions of these politicians, that they just feel like they can do anything they want and no one's going to notice, or the people who notice and still support them. I don't know who's stupider. So it makes you think of one thing. This is what we see going on. These are the slips that these idiots are making, and they're getting caught, and we're seeing it. We're noticing it. What is happening every single day behind closed doors, behind the curtain, that these politicians that are lifelong politicians, sworn to protect us, what else is going on behind the scenes? Someone sent me a photo, and once again, not to, obviously it's just because of what is people are sending me. Obviously there's dirt on both the right and left. Let's not be fools about that, right? But someone sent me a photo of 4 different mansions, and I'm talking about mansions. These are huge estates, beautiful, 4 different ones, huge, lavish estates, 4 of them. And they said, who do you think owns these? And I said, I don't know. They don't look familiar. I don't know where celebrities live, but they definitely look like celebrity homes, celebrity mansions. I don't know. And they said, no, someone owns all 4 of them. And I was like, oh, wow. Some one person? I don't know. It's got to be like Brad Pitt or, I don't know, George Clooney. I don't know. Someone, some basketball. I don't know. And they said, Joe Biden. Joe and Jill Biden own all 4 of these mansions. And I said, how's that possible? How's that possible? How's a man who's been in politics for 47 years and who on the books has never made more than $175,000 a year, and his wife publicly known as a school teacher? So how does a public servant and another public servant, a public servant politician and a public servant school teacher, afford multiple multi-million-dollar mansions? Once again, I don't care if you are the staunchest of staunch Democrats and you are as liberal as they come. Fine, that's okay. You still have to question the math. You have to question the math of how someone who's never made more than $175,000 a year, married to a school teacher, is able to afford 4 multi-million-dollar lavish mansion estates. Once again, you could support Joe Biden till whenever, for eternity. You got to ask that question. How in the world does that happen? You could have the best financial advisor in the world, and I don't think that's happening. Because I know a lot of people who've made a good living over the course of the last 20, 30 years, and they don't have 4 mansions on estates like that. So, this is where people, I think, are just knowingly turning a blind eye. And I think it's happened in elections past, and I think it's happening in elections present, where people are just turning a blind eye because they're just on that side of the line, they're on that side of the fence, and anything that happens on that side of the fence, because they're on that side of the fence, they have to agree with it. Because if they don't agree with it, they know that everyone on that side of the fence is going to yell, scream, berate, embarrass, humiliate, harass until they push you out. So that people know if you're on that side of the gate, that's it. You gotta go along with it. Even if you see blatant hypocrisy, you have to go with it. You can't speak out against it. Because these are the people who they'll tell you to your face that if you're a certain skin color, you have to vote a certain way and you have to believe a certain thing. Otherwise, you're a sellout or you're this. They'll tell you that right to your face. You can't think for yourself. You can't be a free thinker. No way. You have to follow the protocol. And if you don't follow the protocol, you're a sellout. And they'll call you a whole bunch of other horrible names. All about peace and love. And all about unity. And they'll all point the finger at who is dividing this country. Yet, if you have black skin and you say, I don't know about being a Democrat, I don't know if I agree with those policies and those principles, they will shred you apart like a velociraptor. That's how they go. That's how they do it. Peace and love and unity until you don't agree with what they believe in. And you have to be all in, both feet, 100%. Anyway, one of these days we're going to figure out who actually won the presidency. Either way, I've told many people, I don't care who won, whether it's Biden or Trump. All I care about is they figure out who actually won, fair and square, who actually got the votes and who actually won. And whoever actually won, more power to them. But you can't be upset about one side doing the work and trying to see if there was some shenanigans pulled. You can't get upset at that if you're on the other side. Because don't forget, you guys on that side just spent 3 years and millions and millions, tens of millions, probably over $100 million in taxpayer money. Even took some out of Social Security. Nancy Pelosi, yes. Took money out of Social Security to fund the fight against Donald Trump, saying that Russia colluded to help him win the election. That's how bad they went after it. And hey, nothing wrong with that. If that's what they wanted to do and they truly believed in it, I don't know if you should have used taxpayer dollars and taken money out of Social Security. I don't know how I feel about that. But if you truly believed that Russia was involved with him winning, go for it. Go after it. Go get your proof, get your evidence, and kick him out. Well, they tried for 3.5 years. They even tried to impeach him, and it came out that there was no proof, there was no evidence, and it was a complete fabrication. Even the people who hate Donald Trump ended up saying, there's nothing. Okay, fine. But now, when Donald Trump and company are trying to say that there was fraud in the election, voter fraud, I don't know, you can't really... You guys had 3.5 years. Give the guy 3.5 months. Give the guy 3.5 months. If you guys are clean, you're not dirty, your hands are clean, great. But if your hands are dirty, no one's going to find out. Hey, if you give Donald Trump 3.5 months, and after 3.5 months and probably millions more dollars of taxpayer money to try to figure out whether they stole the election, and nothing happens, and the Republicans can't come up with any evidence, any proof, well then, Donald Trump has to pack his bags and move out of the White House, and I think he'll be perfectly fine. However, there's a whole lot of information coming out now that doesn't seem like that is the case, so we will wait and see. So that's my take on that. Let people have their time to do their investigation. You guys had 3.5 years. Give the guy 3.5 months, see what he can come up with. And if you did nothing wrong, you have nothing to hide, then you have no issues at all with letting that happen. So let it happen. Let it play out. All right, everyone, remember, you can go to a rally and you can yell and scream about injustice and oppression and not have a mask on and be around people with no mask on, but don't you dare have anyone at your house for Thanksgiving. Don't you dare, you selfish people.